I'm going to show you 6 common mistakes that roller skaters make, and obviously I'm going to show you how to fix them. So a really common mistake that beginners make is to tense their body because they're expecting something bad to happen. But if something bad does happen, it actually makes it worse. So let's talk about what you need to do to stop this. So I'm not wearing my knee pads, but there's a reason, because I want you to see where my knee bend is. To get rid of this, you want to relax the body, relax your top half, because if you fall rigid like this, you're going to really jar yourself. So first of all, relax. Everyone says bend your knees, but you're like, well, how much? Where? Because most people don't bend their knees enough. So think about putting your knee over your toe. So you really want to bend that leg deeply. If you look down, you should see your knee, not your skate, but don't look down when you're skating. If you're having trouble thinking of getting your knee over your toe, another way to think of it is to get your seat down. So it's kind of like a squat, same sort of position, and that gets you close to the ground, and it also gives you this soft base. So if you wobble, you've got shock absorbers to hopefully be able to save it. I just thought I'd do a really quick message because loads of people have been asking about the t-shirts that I wear in our videos. Now all of these are available on Amazon and Redbubble, so hopefully that makes them available in your country. Another really common mistake is not committing your weight to one foot or the other. So what happens, you keep your weight central between the 2 feet, and then you get this little waddle effect. So let's talk about how to fix it. So to fix this, you need to get all your weight on one foot, then all your weight on the other foot. The easiest way to drill this is to learn it static, because it's a lot safer than skating along on one leg when you're first starting out. So I have a whole video on balance, but I'm going to show you a couple of different moves that you can try. So just standing still, knee over toe, and feel the transfer of weight. All my weight's on here, this leg's really free. All my weight's on here, this leg's really free. And you can practice that, just gently rolling along and transfer. Now, as this feels more and more comfortable, you can bring your feet closer together and do a march. This mistake relates to equipment. Loads of people give the advice to adjust your trucks, and this can be good advice, but you need to first know what it does and why you need to adjust them. So say you're out, you're practicing bubbles, and you're really having a lot of trouble getting them to come back in. It could be that your trucks are too tight. So if you're leaning on your big toe and your wheels aren't flexing towards each other, that means your trucks are probably too tight. Now, when you adjust trucks, you only want to adjust them about 1/4 of a turn at a time, because a too loose a truck is actually much scarier than a too tight truck. If you're loosening your trucks and you're not actually finding you're getting much flex, and it's not getting easier, it might actually be that you need to change this bit here, which is the cushion. So some skates come with quite a hard cushion as stock. I know the lollies do, and lots of people recommend actually changing the cushions. Now, the cushions also go by skater weight, so make sure that you get the right cushions for your weight, and you'll find your ride is massively improved. Another really common mistake that beginners make is to not know what their edges are and how to use them. Let's go find out. When you lean on your trucks, so I'm leaning on my little toe or my big toe, and my wheels flex together, that creates an edge when I roller skate. Very often when a skater's starting out, they will start with bubbles, and straight away you need to use an inside edge for a bubble. To start a bubble, I'm going to press on my inside edges, which means my inside wheels will flex together. And again, inside edges. So if you can learn what an edge is and how to use it, it's going to make your skating journey so much easier. And again, I have an entire video on edges, so I will link that for you. For example, your first time at a rink, you're bubbling, and then you get to a corner and you're going to use an outside edge and an inside edge to go around the corner. So if we go back to our bubbles on an inside edge, if you change to an outside edge, you'll come to a stop. A really, really common mistake that lots of new skaters make is learning the skills in the wrong order or trying to skip them because they want to do the cooler stuff. So let's have a look at skill order. So you've made the decision to strap wheels to your feet. When you stand up, it's going to feel incredibly weird. So the first thing you need to do is to get your balance just standing. Before you think about moving, you need to have an idea of how you might come to a stop. So I've got lots of videos on stopping, which are going to help you with this. And then you need to skate forwards. So there's lots of options with that one. You can march, you can do bubbles. Lots of people at that point then go to transitions or turning. You don't want to turn and end up backwards and have never skated backwards before. So it's a really good idea to do forward skating, then backwards, then turns. Because when you do turn, backward skating will be fine and you're like, oh yeah, I can do this, no problem. Let's talk about some of the common mistakes that happen when it comes to lacing. Your new skates have arrived. You've got the right size because you've drawn around your foot, you've measured it, you've compared it to the manufacturer's size chart, but you put your foot in your boot and you think, these are really small. Don't panic. Lace them up first until your foot is laced and that heel is locked into the back of the skate to pull your toes away from the front. You won't be able to tell if it fits properly or not. So don't panic. Lace them up first. So when I say lace them up, you'd think that's pretty simple, right? Just do the laces up. But there are so many ways and techniques that you can use to make the boot more comfortable, more secure, so let's cover some of those. A really common problem is your toes can go numb. Now lacing can help with this. These skates, if I skate in these after about 10 minutes, my toes have gone, can't feel them at all. If I lace this toe box really loosely, that stops that from happening. So there are loads of different ways you can lace your skate to accommodate different problems. When I lace up, I leave my toe box loose. And now the important bit is this midsection here. So this bit is what is going to lock the heel into the back of the skate to stop it from slipping up and down. So it's really, really important that you give this a good bit of tension to hold your heel into the back of the skate. And then this first hook is also incredibly important because this is still locking that heel in. So you want to keep tension here, like that. Now if the boots are new and they're quite stiff around here, you can relax this top lacing, but you still want it a little bit of tension because it is going to support your ankle. And you see how I'm going the other way around the hooks. This is really important as well. If you go this way, it puts extra pressure on them and they can fail. Going around them this way also locks them in, and you'll find that your skates will not work their way loose whilst you're skating. Another really common mistake is if you've got long laces, lots of skaters tend to wrap them around the top of the boot. This is a really bad idea. It can degrade the boot faster. So say if you've got a suede boot and you're wrapping that around and around, it's going to really wear that suede down and it's going to degrade the boot a lot quicker, and it's also not the best idea for your ankle. It doesn't add any support. The best thing to do is to go back down the hooks to get rid of some of that extra lace. So if I was to go here and I'm like, oh, I've got way too much, I could go back down these two hooks and tie it midway instead. Or I could even just do a knot and go up and down a few more times and get rid of some of that extra lace. A little lace hack that I tend to use, which I don't know if many people do this. It's really hard to get laces that are the right length for skates. And then you buy the really, really long ones and then they're crazy long. So what I do is just buy the packs of loads and loads of laces. And then I tie two pairs together, which looks pretty cool. So this is two shorter laces and I tie them together and the knot's down there so it doesn't dig into my foot, and then I get this really cool effect and I can pretty much have whichever laces I want because I can just tie two pairs together. So I hope as you've watched your way through this video, a couple of things have made you go, oh yes, that's really going to help me. I'm Katie, you've been watching Skatie, and I'll see you next time. Bye.